and welcome to today's class. So today we are going to be doing a flow for undo the desk. So this is going to be all about shoulder freedom, incorporating a flow, a yoga flow into this, opening it into the chest. So really thinking about expanding across the front of the body, and we're going to mobilise our shoulder blades, doing some shoulder rolls and just generally mobilising to get us away from this kind of rounded shoulder that we have when we're sat at desks or looking at our phones. I'm going to think about taking our shoulders back. So to start with, I just want you to come to lay down on your back, soles of the feet on the floor, knees up towards the ceiling, arms can just rest alongside your body, palms facing down to the mat. And I want you to feel the back of your head, so your skull on the ground, your two shoulder blades, your scapula, and also your sacrum, so that bony part at the bottom of the lower back and just above the tailbone. Those three bony landmarks, feeling into them and resting. Perhaps just tucking your chin slightly, creating a little bit of length in the back of the neck. I want you to take a nice deep breath in and a nice long breath out. And as you inhale, I really want you to think about that expansion of your rib cage in all directions. And just soften as you exhale, letting go of any tension, anything that's accumulated from your day so far. Just take one more there. And then when you're ready, I want you to grab one of your blocks. There should be one handy. Just bring yourself up and we're going to place the block horizontally towards the back of the mat. And we're going to place our shoulder blades on the block. So you want to think about your shoulder blades there. And then I want you to interlace your hands behind your head and take your elbows out, soles of the feet on the floor, knees up towards the ceiling. So we'll just come and have a look, because I think that could come down slightly. So just come up, there you go, and lay back. So in this position, we've got that nice opening of the chest. You're supporting that weight of the head. And although we are opening our chest, our ribs, we just want to really think about drawing our ribs down towards our pelvis still, so they're not flaring open too much. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, I want you to bring the elbows together, chin to chest, and just lift up slightly. And then inhale as you come back down, open. And exhale as you lift. So just mobilising in your spine, opening the thoracic spine, opening your chest, letting your breath move with the movement, the inhale and the exhale. So just do two more like this. Going as far back over the block as feels good for you. Really drawing those ribs down as you lift up. So just do one more. And then when you're ready, just bring yourself back to that starting position and roll off to one side to come off the block using your hands and your forearms. Have your block by your side, lay back down and place the block between your thighs, the skinny way or the medium way, whatever feels good for you and your hips. Place your hands alongside your body, palms facing down. We're going to come into some bridges. So pushing into the soles of your feet, lengthen your tailbone towards your heels, hug the block and lift up into a low bridge. So you're really thinking about the backs of the ribs still staying down on the ground. We're not thrusting, our hips up really high. Bottom ribs are knitted in towards centre. Everything's drawing towards midline, your core is on. And then take an inhale and exhale as you lift your arms up, palms facing each other, and just take your arms over as far as it's okay and your ribs don't flare and push up. So whatever distance that is absolutely fine. And wherever you are, I just want you to take a reach with the left hand and then back and a reach with the right. So you're reaching and stretching. So reaching towards the back of the mat. Reaching towards the back of the mat. So I'm reaching with the right arm and back, reaching with the left arm and back. That's better, yeah, reaching. So getting into the sides of the body. And then come back to center. Exhale as the arms come back down. Plant alongside you. And then lower down, one vertebra at a time. Mid-back, lower back and sacrum. And we're going to start flowing with the arms as we lift our pelvis up. So take an inhale. Exhale, tailbone lengthens towards the heels. Start to push into your feet. Lift your pelvis and the arms sweep up. Exhale, arms come back down. And then start to lower through your spine as the arms come down simultaneously. Inhale, lift. Reaching with those hands. Exhale, arms come down as you lower through your spine and lower the pelvis down. So just going with these kind of spinal waves, including your arms in as well. Using that one breath per movement. The inhale starts to lift you up, opening through the front of your thighs and your pelvis. And exhale, folding down. Let's just take two more. Just getting some movement in your shoulders. Last one. And exhale as you lower. So hopefully your glutes will be a little bit warmer. So move the block so it's the skinny way between your knees. And interlace your hands behind your head. So we'll just do a few abdominals just to warm up our core a little bit more. So take an inhale, exhale as you lift up, leading with your sternum. Elbows are cupped in beside the sides of your head. Inhale as you lower. Exhale as you lift. One more just like that. Those lower ribs coming down towards your pelvis. Inhale as you lower. Then we'll add on. Exhale as you lift. Straighten from the knee of the left leg. Toes pull back towards your head. Lower the foot. And then inhale as you lower the head. Exhale as you lift. Squeeze that block. Right leg long. Pull back on those toes. Lower the foot. Inhale as you lower. Exhale as you lift. Pushing into the sacrum as you do so. Left leg lifts. And this time your right arm is just going to come alongside your body. That's it. And hold here. Hand behind the head. Lower the foot and inhale down. Exhale, lifting up. Left leg long, flex that foot. Right hand releases, comes down by the sides of your body. Hand behind the head, lower the foot. Inhale down. And then we'll add on again. Exhale as you lift. Left leg long. Release the right arm by the side of the body. And then this time, this right arm's going to sweep up so it's alongside your right ear. And then sweep back down. Hand behind the head, lower the foot. Inhale, lower. Exhale as you lift. Right leg long. Left hand alongside the left side of your body. Sweep it up alongside your left ear. Lower down. Behind the head and lower the foot. Inhale. Exhale as you lift. Left leg lifts. Right arm alongside the right side of the body. And we're going to do this a couple of times. Reach the arm up towards the back of the mat. And down. One more. Feel that demand on your core. Hand behind the head. Lower the foot. Inhale down. One more. Exhale as you lift. Right leg long, pull back on those toes. Left arm alongside the body. Lift up and lower. Feel the core cinch in. Lift up and lower. Hand behind the head. Lower the foot and inhale as you lower down. And then release that block from between the legs. Take your knees in so you can have a little hug. And just rock from side to side. Just release your lower back. Take a few deep breaths. And then rolling onto your left side. I want you to grab your block. You can have a block for your head as well. It's always quite nice to use the block as a pillow. So on your left side, your block for your knee and your shin is further up. So your right knee and your right shin is on the block. Left arm is long. And then from here, I want you to take your right hand and place it behind your head so the elbow's up towards the ceiling. And then I want you to open from there. So you're just opening to the right. So let your sternum lead the way and then close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. And keep going with that movement. Just noticing what's happening with the leg. So making sure that the leg doesn't move off the block. So you've got a nice, steady, stable pelvis. And just noticing how you're expanding through your chest. And do one more. So bring that elbow in and then open it. And then this time as you've opened it, just extend that right arm long. Feeling that opening through the whole of your chest. And then bring that hand behind the head again, just to the side of the head. And bring it back to a close. And then roll over to the other side. So rolling over to your right side. Right arm long, left knee on the block. Your bottom leg can also be slightly bent. It doesn't have to be long. Place your hand behind your head. So it's the left hand this time. And then inhale as you open. And then exhale as you close. So we're going to be playing around a little bit with this movement in the flow. It's just getting this idea of opening and closing. But we're leading from our sternum. Trying to take that long arm out of it because our arm will want to fling open sometimes. We want the lead to come from our breastbone as you open and close. So just take two more there, just making sure that knee is nice and steady on the block. And on your last one, just open up and let that arm go long, coming into that nice open twist. And then bring that hand back behind the head. And then close it off. And then coming up over onto all fours. So have your blocks handy around the mat. We're lucky we've got lots of blocks, so you can always grab them if you need to. So coming onto all fours, we're just going to come into a downward facing dog. So shoulders over wrists, knees underneath the hips, tuck your toes. And then engaging that core, hover your knees and lift up. So lift up and take a small shift back. Still lots of weight in your hands. And then from there, just bend one knee and then the other. Just pedal those feet out just a little bit. And then from there, we're going to come to stillness. And we're going to do some shoulder shrugs. So we're just going to try and mobilise these shoulders a little bit more with a bit of strength and mobility. So you're going to push the floor away, really lift up, let the shoulder blades come more towards your head and then release. So your head will fall down to the floor a bit and lift and release. So letting your shoulders just glide on your back body. So I'll just come and have a look for a minute. You can have a soft bend in your knees while you're doing this. Just letting those shoulders mobilise on your back, gliding on the back of your rib cage, lifting and lowering. That's great. So just do one more. And then when you've done your last one, lower your knees, and then just come into a child's pose. So you could take the knees as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. Just pad your hands forward, hinge your hips back and release your head down. Perhaps just take a little rock of the head from side to side, just massaging out the front point of your head. It generally feels quite nice. We can hold quite a lot of tension there. And then when you're ready, bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pushing yourself up. And then from here, we're going to take a step towards the top of the mat. So just stepping one foot, you can always grab your blocks to help you come up to standing. Push down and rise up with a nice long spine, hands to heart center. So we're going to move through some sun salutations, 2 rounds of sun salutations. We're going to add on a few arm movements in the second round. So inhale the arms forwards and up, letting the shoulders lift up towards the ears. Exhale, folding down, hands to the blocks. Step that right foot back, lower the knee and the top of the foot and sweep those arms up. Engaging that right glute, lifting those fingertips up towards the ceiling. Plant your hands down, move the blocks to one side, stepping back into plank through all fours or stepping back. And when you're in plank, lower your knees. And we're going to lower all the way down nice and slowly. Let the pelvis land, the bottom of the ribs. Let your inhale breath lift your chest. Engage the glutes and the core through our cobra. Exhale, push back through the knees, tuck the toes and lift up to your down dog. Perhaps walk your feet in slightly. So from here, your right foot is going to step towards the top of the mat. You can step it or you could lower your knees and step the right foot to the top of the mat. You're on the top of the left foot and sweep your arms up. Really lifting up, you feel light on that left knee. Plant the hands down to the floor or blocks. Tuck your back toes, back foot meets the front. Push down and rise up with a nice long spine. And again, exhale, folding down. Left foot steps back. Lower the knee, top of the foot, sweep those arms up. Nice stacking over the head, over the shoulders, over the pelvis. Plant your hands down. Move the blocks. You're stepping back through all fours or back into your plank. Lower the knees when you get there, lowering down, keeping the ears above the shoulders as you slowly lower. Engage the core and the glutes as you lift through your cobra. Exhale, push back. Through the knees, tuck the toes, lift up. Stepping that left foot forward. So step it forward or lower the knees and step the left foot forward. You're on the top of the right foot. Inhale those arms up. Engaging that right glute, giving it a hug. Plant the hands down. Step that back foot to meet the front. Push down and rise up. Hands come just to heart center just for a moment and take a breath. Just before we move into our next round of sun salutations. So inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, folding down. Plant the hands, step the right foot back. Lower the knee, keep the toes tucked if you can, and sweep your arms up. Place your right hand behind your skull, your left hand at your sacrum, so the back of the hand is on the sacrum. Think about drawing that head back into the hand. This nice long line of energy from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Plant your hands down. Step back into your plank through all fours or stepping back. Lower the knees straight away and lower down nice and slowly. Inhale, drawing those hands back as you lift into cobra. And then release down slightly as you push back and up to your downward facing dog. Just take a moment there. Right foot's going to step forward, so lower the knees and step or step that right foot forward. Inhale those arms up. Left hand comes behind your head, right hand at your sacrum. Just pushing back, getting that nice internal and external rotation of the shoulders in this position, nice and broad through the chest. Plant your hands down, grab the blocks. If you want, step that back foot to meet the front, push down and rise up. Our last round, exhale, folding down, step that left foot back, lower the knee, keep the toes tucked, the arms can come alongside your body, and we're just going to roll one shoulder and then the other shoulder. So rolling it up, back and down, perhaps getting the rib cage involved, and the neck a little bit as well. Feeling some kind of freedom in your shoulders. Plant your hands down. Step back into your plank. So you could come through all fours. Step back, lower the knees, engage the core as you lower down. Let that inhale breath lift your heart. Exhale, push back through the knees, tuck the toes, lift up to your down dog. Just walk your feet in slightly, pushing through your hands so you're nice and strong in your down dog. Left foot's going to step forward, so step it forward or lower the knees and step that left foot forward. Arms dangling and shoulder roll again. Nice and strong through that right glute to help stabilise and get our balance. Notice how your shoulders are feeling. And then plant the hands at the front of the mat and step that back foot to meet the front. Push down and rise up. Bring your hands to heart centre just for a moment before we move through our first sequence. There's going to be 3 sequences. And the first one's going to start as we reach our arms up towards the ceiling. And we're going to come into a bit of a chair swing. So you're going to exhale, you're going to bend your knees, sit back as the arms come down. Reach up. Inhale, exhale. So this is just a release. Should feel quite nice. You can make it audible as you exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale. One more. And this time, plant your hands on the blocks or the floor. Step the right foot back. Lower the knee. Keep the toes tucked if you can and sweep those arms up. Interlace your hands behind your head. Open those elbows wide like we did right at the beginning of class when we're over that block. Engage that right glute. And then just lean your head back into your hands and open your chest a little bit more. And then exhale, chin to chest. Elbows come together, round through the upper back. Inhale, open, lifting that sternum up towards the ceiling. Exhale, closing. So lifting up and opening, noticing how that upper back feels. Take one more. And then as you come back to centre, plant your right hand down. That could be on the block or on the floor. You're going to sweep the left arm up, take a small rotation to the left. And then we're going to backstroke this left arm. So backstroking it back, down towards the floor and to the front of the mat. That's it. Engaging through that right shoulder. Nice strong hand on the ground. Really thinking about moving from your left scapula as the arm moves. And take one more there. And then you're going to lift your right knee up and turn towards the right, parallel your feet, and you're going to side lunge right and left. You're going to take your hands like they're in your back pockets to keep your chest nice and open. So just moving from side to side. Just check. So you've got nice long spine, like you're sitting back in a chair. And then last one. We're going to plant our left hand towards the back of the mat. You're going to lower that left knee and we're going to lower onto our hip, left hip. The right leg stacks on top of the left. So you're in a side sit. Left hand is down, right hand comes behind your head, like we did when we were in our twist. You're going to inhale to open to the right. Exhale, elbow to elbow, chin comes to chest. Inhale, open, and exhale, close. So what I want you to think about in this position, so keep doing it, is this shoulders not getting too involved. It's trying to stabilise and stay steady as you open, so it's not jutting forward. That's it. Just do one more there. Just feel that nice opening through the chest. And then plant both hands down towards that back of the mat. Come into all fours, tuck the toes, lift up to your down dog and just pedal your feet in this position. Pushing through the palms of the hands, lifting up in the armpits. and then come to stillness. Lower your knees down so you come to a tabletop position. And I want you to take your right hand and place it towards the top of the mat. Take an inhale and exhale as you hinge back in your hips, opening into that right armpit. Lift up. Place your hand towards the left corner of the mat. Take an inhale. Exhale, hinge back in your hips. Notice how that feels. Rise up. Hand comes back underneath the right shoulder. We'll do the left. So left hand to the top of the mat. Take an inhale. Exhale, hinge back. Open that left armpit. Inhale, come up. Hand to the right corner of the mat. Take an inhale. Exhale, hinge back. And then rise back up. Place that left hand underneath the left shoulder. And then you're going to step your right foot to the top of the mat, or the back of the mat, and the left. And we're going to rise up. And we're going to come into those chair swings again. So exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Just doing a few of these, just releasing anything that's no longer serving you. Let it go through the exhale. Last one, plant your hands down, step that left foot back, lower the knee. You're on the ball of the foot, so your toes are tucked. Inhale, let your arms sweep your torso up, interlace your hands behind your head. Opening those elbows wide, engage that left glute, take a lean back, lift your sternum towards the ceiling like it's smiling up towards the sky. Exhale, chin to chest, elbows come together and round. Inhale, open. Exhale. So it's just like a cat-cow for our upper spine. Last one. And then come back to center. You can place your left hand on the floor or a block. The right arm sweeps up and you backstroke with this right arm. So engaging that left shoulder blade on your back body and just circling, nicely circling from your right scapula. One more. And then lift that back knee, parallel your feet to the left, hands in your back pockets as you side lunge left and right. So imagine you're holding an orange or a grapefruit between your chin and your chest, thinking about that nice alignment like we did right at the beginning of class, where our skull, our scapula and our sacrum are in alignment as you shift from side to side. And then plant that right hand at the top of the mat. Lower the right knee and the right hip. Left leg stacks on top of the right in that side sit. Left hand behind the head. And then inhale as you just open to the left slightly. Exhale, kind of elbow comes towards that elbow, but it's not going to reach. And inhale as you open. So just coming into that nice movement. So we're trying not to move. So bring that hand in slightly. Try not to move this too far forward as we open. So we're just trying to get that nice opening in the chest. And take one more. And then plant that left hand down, come on to all fours, tuck the toes, use your core to help lift you to your down dog and pedal your feet. Just stretching through those calves and those hamstrings. Your core is still on lifting up. Your armpits are still lifting up. And come to stillness. Lower the knees nice and slowly. And then the left hand will come forward. Take an inhale. Exhale as you hinge back into those hips. Get into that armpit of the left. Rise up. Left hand to the right corner of the mat. Take an inhale and exhale, hinge. Getting that nice lateral stretch. Coming up. Left hand underneath the left shoulder. Right hand towards the front of the mat. Exhale as you hinge. Release the head down if it feels comfortable. Inhale, rise up. Over to the left corner of the mat. Exhale. And then inhale as you rise up. Bringing that hand back underneath the shoulder. Grab your blocks and then step that right foot to the front, left foot to the front. Push down and rise up. So we'll just do a couple of rounds of sun salutations. So exhale, folding down, hands plant to the floor, step the right foot back and the left into your plank. Lower your knees when you get there and lower all the way down. Inhale through your cobra. Exhale, push back. Through the knees, tuck the toes, lift up to your down dog. And then step one foot and then the other towards the top of the mat. Push down and rise up. So one more. Exhale, folding down, plant your hands, step into your plank. Nice and open through the chest as you lower your knees and lower down nice and slowly. Inhale through your cobra, draw your hands back. Exhale, push through the knees, tuck the toes, lift up to your down dog. And this is where we're going to start our second sequence. In our down dog. So you're nice and strong in your down dog. You're going to shift the weight slightly into that left scapula and the left hand as you come up onto the right fingertips. The right pads of the fingers are still in the mat, yep. And then lower the right hand down. Lift up onto the fingertips of the left. And lower down. And then you're going to walk your hands back as you come into a happy squat. So you can always grab your blocks on whatever setting feels good for you. You've got a nice bend through your knees. And then if it feels good too, you can always stay in this position or you could interlace your hands behind your head, elbows out. Really lifting that head up into your hands. And then as you exhale, chin to chest, elbows come together, taking a round. Those hands at the back of the head just provide a little bit of traction there for the neck, for that release. Take one breath there, feel your back ribs expand. And then exhale as you release your hands down, walk your hands forward, come back into your plank, lower your knees and lower all the way down. You're going to take your arms into a cactus position. Your forehead is going to stay down, your tops of your feet will stay down. And you're just going to hover your hands and your arms and draw your shoulder blades together and then back down. So just do that 2 more times. That's it, bringing them together and down. So just getting a bit of strength. In your shoulders. And then when you've done that last one, place your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself up to high kneeling and step your left foot forward. And we're going to open out to the right to your goddess. So heels in, toes out, whatever turnout feels good for your body. Interlace your hands at your sacrum. And then take your hands over to your right hip and let your right ear drop towards your right shoulder. Just releasing into that left side. Drawing that left shoulder down. Left ear is reaching up towards the ceiling. And then switch. Hands over to the left hip, left ear to left shoulder. Just noticing how you're feeling in both shoulders, getting into your traps, your upper traps. And then release your hands. Pivot your feet so they face the front of the mat. You're going to weight shift into this front leg and the right knee is going to come up into flexion to your chest. You can place your left hand on your right knee and your right hand, just bring them to the top of your head, just to remind you, yep, I'm lifting up nice and tall. Step back with that right foot into your warrior 2. Arms out nice and wide, release the arms like being pulled in opposite directions. The hands are going to release down. You're going to grab opposite elbow with opposite hand. You're going to take an inhale as you reach the arms up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, rebend as the arms open. Let the arms drop, grab the elbows. Inhale, open through those armpits. Exhale. One more. Really strong through your legs. And then cartwheel your hands all the way down and step back into your down dog. And we're going to go into the other side. So pushing through the right hand, come up onto those left fingertips. Lower the left hand, come up onto the right fingertips. And then lower the right hand. Walk your hands back, let your heels drop, coming into your happy squat. Staying here, reaching your head towards the top of the mat, your tailbone towards the back, or you could interlace your hands behind your head, elbows wide, lifting up in your core still. Inhale, and then exhale, chin to chest, elbows come together, release the head down, get that traction for the back of the neck. You've got a nice bend to your legs, so you're not hyperextending your knees. And then release those hands, pad your hands forward to the top of the mat, come into your plank, lower your knees, and then lower down nice and slowly. Take your arms into that cactus position, head down. And then we're going to hover the hands and the elbows and bring those shoulders together and back down. So you're still lifting up in the core as well here. So we're not just laying here, we're engaged. One more. Plant your hands underneath your shoulders, push back onto your knees, up to high kneeling, step your right foot forward. Open out to the left into your goddess position. So getting the heels in, toes out. Nice and long in the spine. Interlace your hands at your sacrum so you're opening in your chest. And take your hands over to the left. Drop that left ear to the left shoulder. So really pushing through your feet so your legs are nice and strong and steady. And then take your hands through centre over to the right hip, right ear to the right shoulder. Taking your breath into that space on the left-hand side of the neck. And then release the hands, push down with your feet, straighten your legs, pivot your toes towards the front of the mat. Step into that right foot as the left knee comes up into flexion. Take the right hand to the left knee. And then perhaps just taking your left hand to the top of your head. Your fingertips are there, just reminding you to lift up nice and tall. Those wobbles are good. And then let that left foot step back and you open into your warrior two. Let the arms drop. Grab opposite elbow with opposite hand. And then inhale, the arms reach up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, release the arms, rebend the knee. Inhale. So that's the move. The second time round. So perhaps feeling that nice movement, that opening in the armpits again. Moving with your breath. One more, just because it's a really nice move to do. And then arriving in your warrior two, cartwheel that back hand all the way to the front of the mat. Lower your back knee and come onto all fours, and we'll just take a few cat-cows here in this position. So dropping the belly, softening it, tailbone lifting up, and exhale, pushing the floor away as you round through your spine. So again, just mobilising, feeling your shoulders draw away and come together, away in the cat, and draw together in the cow. And do one more there. And then coming into a child's pose, taking those knees as wide as the mat, big toes to touch. Pad your hands forward to the top of the mat. Perhaps palms facing up towards the ceiling, so just get a bit of rotation in your shoulders. Your head can come down to the ground or perhaps onto a block. And again, just rocking your head from side to side if that felt nice the first time that we did it. Breathing fully into the ribs, trying to get that breath into the back of the body. And take one more breath there. And then come to stillness. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders and then rolling up with that cat-like spine. And then it's completely up to you. You could step one foot to the top of the mat and then the other, or you could come through a down dog. So if you fancy coming through a down dog, tucking the toes, lifting the pelvis up, pushing through those hands. You could perhaps take a little pedal of your feet if that felt nice. And then come to stillness. Take a look towards the top of the mat, bend your knees and take a little walk of the feet towards the hands. And push down and rise up. Hands to heart center. And just take a moment there. Deep breaths in and out. Notice how your shoulders feel, how your body feels, how your breath feels. As we now start to move into our last sequence where we put both of these sort of little flows together, so there'll be moves that perhaps you recognise. So inhale the arms forwards and up. We're going to take these chair swings, but we're going to come up onto our tiptoes perhaps now. And then exhale, the heels come down and take that. Inhale, come up onto the tiptoes. Exhale. So we're really challenging our balance a little bit as well here. Doing these little calf raises. Always great for our calves and our ankles and our feet. One more. Exhale, folding down, plant your hands. You can have them on blocks or the floor. And you're going to step that right foot back. We're coming up to a high lunge this time, so get your footing and let your arms help you sweep your torso up. And then this time, bring your arms out in front of you, palms facing each other. So you've got a soft bend in that back knee, and you're going to peel this right arm back and across your chest, and it peels towards the back of the mat. The gaze can follow if it feels good. And then bring it back. And then the left arm peels. So a little bit like we were doing in our reset, where we were opening and closing with our arms in that twist. Obviously a lot more challenge now as we're on our feet in this lunge position. So right arm back and then forwards, and then this time peel that left arm back and stay here in that twisted T. And then the right hand's going to come towards the floor or a block. Now that's up to you. And then you're going to circle this left arm back. So doing those back strokes. You can always re-lower that back knee. Or if you'd like to add on, as the arm comes back, you could just tap your knee down and then lift it back up when the arm comes forward. Tap. Depending on what challenge you want. Noticing where your body is today, arriving with the person that you've come with, the body you've come with on the mat. Last one. And then lower that right knee down. And then we're going to lower it into our side sit. So right hand down, coming onto that right hip, the left leg stacks, right hand is down. So left hand is behind our head. And we're going to inhale as we just open to the left slightly. And then exhale, we're going to do exactly the same thing as we close. But then this time as you open, if you'd like to, you can push into the hand and lift those hips up. Exhale down and close. Inhale up. Exhale down and close. So just doing 2 more of those, pushing into the hand as you lift up. And then the last one, come down. This left foot is going to come towards the top of the mat. Weight shift into that left foot. You can always use blocks to help you get there. You're opening out to the right, and we're coming into those nice side lunges that we came into before. So you could always still have your hands in your back pockets, opening through the chest, or you could take your hands behind your head and taking those elbows wide, lifting that head into the hand. Side to side, getting into the inner groin, the inner seam of both legs. And then when you're ready, planting both hands towards the back of the mat, and you're coming into your down dog. And I want you to take your stance slightly wider. And then this time, again, you could stay with coming onto fingertips, Or you could take your right hand and place it anywhere on your left leg. And then come back to center, bring that hand down, left hand anywhere on the right leg. And back. And then walk your hands back, coming into your happy squat. Grab your block, again, any setting. Left hand is on the block, right arm peels open as the right leg straightens, the left leg stays bent. And then switch, right hand onto the block, left leg straightens, left arm reaching up. And then lower down. You're going to walk your hands towards the top of the mat, so remove that block, come into your plank, lower your knees and lower down nice and slowly. Bring your arms into that cactus position, and then this time we're going to engage the core, engage the glutes. You're going to start to hover the hands and the arms and perhaps start to hover the feet and the head. Release down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself back. And then we're going to step left foot forward. And we're going to open out to the right into our goddess position. So reaching your arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other. And then you're going to reach the left arm up even higher. And then the right arm up even higher. So coming back to exactly what we did when we were in that bridge position. We're just reaching one arm and the other. Creating some space in the sides of the body. Letting one shoulder blade lift and then the other. And then release your hands down. Straighten your legs, pivot your feet to the top of the mat. Weight shifting to that right foot as the left knee comes into flexion. This time taking the right hand to the left knee. You can take your hands to your head or you could peel that left arm back. Your gaze can go towards the back as well, if that feels good for you. And then let that left foot step back into your warrior two. Your arms are nice and wide. Take an inhale. And exhale, right arm up, left arm down, peaceful warrior. Inhale through warrior two. Come into your side angle. So right forearm down, left arm sweeps up. And move through that. So inhale through warrior two. Exhale, peaceful warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Back to your warrior two. Cartwheel this left hand all the way to the front of the mat. Lowering down, coming onto all fours. And then just coming into a child's pose. Again, just for a moment, just releasing your head down, arms forward. Taking a deep breath in and out. And then when you're ready, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Come up to a high kneeling position. We're stepping the right foot forward and then the left. And coming back up to standing. So using blocks if you need to. And inhale as you rise up. So we've got one more side to do. Take an inhale, coming up onto those toes. Exhale, releasing down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last one. Really release anything you no longer need. Plant the hands down, step the left foot back. Coming up to that high lunge. So get your footing, arms sweep up, soft bend in that back knee. Arms come forward. So we're going to peel that left arm back. So peeling it towards the back of the mat, opening the chest. And then peel it back towards the front. And then the right arm. And back. And open. Opening like a book. And then when you've peeled that right arm back, in your twisted T, release that left hand to the floor or a block. Backstroke this right arm. So just get this right arm moving, dialing from your scapula. And then when the arm comes back, perhaps you want to tap your knee and then lift it as your arm comes forward. So just get that movement, get that breath. Notice how you're feeling. How's the breath feeling? Last one. And then lower that left knee. And we're going to lower onto that left hip. Stack that right leg over the left. Move your block to one side. Left hand's planted, right hand is behind your head. I'm going to open out to the right on the inhale. And exhale, bring that elbow down towards the mat. And this time as you open, you could lift the hips up. And then lower. Lift the hips up. Just getting a bit more strength in that left shoulder blade. Last one. And then this right foot is going to step towards the front of the mat. So big move, weight shifting to the right foot, open out to the left into your side lunges. So parallel your feet to the short edges of the mat, hands at your sacrum in your back pockets, or perhaps hands behind your head and going from side to side. Still thinking about that tailbone lengthening towards the back and the crown of the head towards the front. Plant your hands to the back of the mat. Coming into your down dog and take your feet slightly wider. Okay, left hand perhaps tapping anywhere on the right leg or coming onto the fingertips. And then bring it back. Right hand anywhere on the left leg. And then bring it back. And then walk those hands back, grabbing your block, right hand on the block. Left arm sweeps open, straighten the left leg, bend the right knee. And then switch. Left hand on the block, right arm switch, sweeping up and down. Move the block to one side, walk your hands forward. As you come into your plank, lower your knees, lower down nice and slowly. And then get your hands, arms into that cactus position, so making sure your arms are in line with your shoulders. And then as you inhale, just lifting that belly up towards the spine. Hover the hands, the arms, perhaps the head and the feet. Creating lengths, toes towards one end of the mat, head towards the other. And release. Plant those hands underneath your shoulders. Push back onto your knees into this high kneeling position and step that right foot towards the back. Open out to the left. And we're in that goddess position. Reaching those arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing together. And then we're just reaching through one hand and then the other, like you're just trying to grab something. Letting your shoulder blades rise up towards one ear. And then release down, straighten the legs, pivot them towards the front of the mat, weight shift into that left leg. Right knee comes up, left hand to the right knee. Always place the right hand on top of the head, or you could take that right hand towards the back. That's great. So the hips are still facing the front. And then plant that right foot back and come into your warrior two, arms reaching out. Left arm back, right arm down. Inhale through center. Exhale, left forearm to left thigh. And then flowing with that. So the pelvis is nice and strong and steady. Just moving that upper part of the body. Your core and your obliques working hard to just swing you from back to front. Last one. And then rise up, come back to your warrior two, strong in the legs, and then cartwheel that right arm all the way down. Coming onto all fours, we're just going to come into a cat-cow before we come onto our back. So inhale, just let that chest come through the arms, tailbone lifts slightly. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Try not to let your head get massively involved. We're trying to mobilise through the spine, not necessarily as much through the head. One more. Close down your eyes perhaps just for this last one. And then come back to neutral. And we're just going to roll onto our back. Bring the soles of the feet onto the floor, knees up towards the ceiling. Arms just alongside your body. And just notice how you feel. Ending where we started. Feeling your breath. Notice how your shoulders feel. Do they feel any less tight, any less stiff? And then take one leg long and then the other. Coming into your final resting pose, letting those feet just turn out naturally. Closing down the eyes, softening in your jaw, letting the tongue come away from the top of the mouth. Melting your shoulders away from the ears, letting them just ground down. And just take 2 more inhales and exhales here. And then when you're ready, just bring one knee and then the other into your chest. Have a little hug, have a little rock from side to side. Just mobilizing through the back. And then just roll over to your right hand side, just curling up into a little ball just for a moment, just coming off the back body, even though we're only there for a short time. Just on our side, just observing how you're feeling. Notice if there's any shifts. Notice any shifts in your breath or your thoughts. And then using your left hand to push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Placing one hand over the other at your heart center. Softening your gaze or closing your eyes. And bow your head to your heart. Just feeling that space you've created in your chest and your upper back. And carry this sense of openness with you for the rest of your day.